Darren Barnes.
Big white car 99, time of 58.33, 58.33, big white.
Yeah.
78, Christian Hanson records a time of 58.31, 58.31. On the track
Cook now in the VW Beetles. New South Wales, Canada. At the wheel. That's right now, back now. Looking for the finish line. Right there, the left-right combination. Already run so far through there.
Back in black.
Forward 3 for Christian Hansen. A bit slower than his previous run.
That's not what I want to see. This is. Ah! That's supposed to hit me. That's just tricking you.
Last run. It's quicker there.
He went down like that.
Very large, course on 55.58. 55.58. Back across the line. 135.
What's he doing? He's going here.
Straight away and waiting for the starters line as they come across the field now. Watch on the inside here as Paul Stokell gets away to a brilliant start. He's off and running and James Brock alongside, but as they go into the first corner or the first series of lefts and rights, you'll find that Paul Stokell has gone through to take over the lead.
That was a great start by Paul Stokell. He left James Brock in his wake. Looks like James just missed the waving of the green flag. Look at Hackett, totally sideways, and Simonson wanting to have a go.
Whack it and Hackett. Side by side as they come down the front straight away into the right-handed. Nothing between these two as we go on board from the back of Peter Hackett's machine.
That very fast Porsche of David Stevens having a look around Alan Simonson. He couldn't make the overtaking manoeuvre stick, but he's certainly applying the pressure to the Dane early on.
Well, they swing through here, and here is the race leader, as you can see. Paul Stokell coming in under brakes as he turns into the right-hander. And the Clarion Lamborghini comes out of that corner, and right behind him is James Brock.
Yeah, they're looking for a great result. They haven't had a DNF in 2 years in this Lamborghini, so they want to finish the weekend off on a winning note. But Brock, James Brock, looking very racy early on in the Monaro, just getting a bit twitchy under brakes there.
Well, here's Hackett back in third place as they come into the left-hander and the right-hander again. And the race leader doing this very, very comfortably. The car is handling a treat. And here comes Hackett, and he's under pressure already.
Certainly is, having his first run in a sedan for nearly 12 months in actual fact. Did race the Lamborghini back there at the Gold Coast Indy Grand Prix, but that was his first real outing in a sedan, and he's working that car very hard at the moment because Simonson is really applying the pressure. Mike, early on in this race, it looks like Simonson has a great deal more corner speed than Hackett.
He's carrying a lot more into the corners, under brakes now as we come up. Alan Simonson, as you can see here, right on the tail of Hackett. They swing out of the corner. Now power comes into play here. Hackett gets away marginally in the short run down the front straight away, but they're almost nose to tail as they get to the end of the straight.
The instructions from Team Lamborghini are, don't scratch it, do not scratch it.
Well, you don't want to scratch it here, and the conditions are absolutely ideal for motorsport. We go on board with Alan Simonson as he tails Hackett coming out of this corner. The leaders have disappeared meantime. James Brock doing his best to pull in the race leader, Paul Stokell, but they are well and truly in front.
David Stevens just sitting behind this car, the Cooper's entry of Alan Simonson. Big brake lock up by Hackett.
Well, he's doing his best, Hackett, but I tell you what, Simonson is doing a great job. Look at the corner speed that he's able to achieve through here as we go on board to at the back of Peter Hackett's car, and that gives you some idea of these two cars as they come down the long straight here at Mallala Motorsport Park.
Here's how Peter Hackett just snatched the right-hand front tyre going into the left-hander there, putting himself under a bit more pressure. There's Huglen in the second of the Porsches. Now, Alan Simonson is actually his driving instructor, so he stepped out of the car at the previous round, but Huglen having a good go this weekend in that Ferrari.
Well, it's a very difficult track for a lot of these drivers. They don't get to see a lot of it during the course of the season, being in South Australia. It's a very even racetrack and carries horsepower rather well. And it's an easy track to set up for, but very, very hard as you get out of the corners.
This should be a good weekend between these two, Mike. Of course, Peter Hackett, young, 2001 Formula 3 champion. And, of course, the other young man behind him, Alan Simonson, has proven himself in Group 2 cars. This is a Group 1 car up against a Group 2 car, so gives you an idea of how well Alan Simonson is steering at the moment. Hackett will not want to be overtaken.
Oh, not at all. And Simonson is so quick at the end of the straight. Here he comes once again looking down towards the inside. Just can't find it. Mallala Motorsport Park needs to be about another 50 metres wider for him. And there's the gap as they're halfway down the straight. And from here on in, a man here in the Cooper's Pale Ale machine, Simonson, manages to pull back the gap. We look on our race score. Stokell is the race leader. Brock in second place. Hackett is followed by Simonson, Stevens, Tulin, Coles and John in 8th spot.
Stay with us. More from Mallala on the other side of this break. Trying to get every decisecond that they can out of this car. Really working on suspension settings and how they're going to set the car up. Oh, Peter Coles, we just gave him a wrap and he's off into the grass. There's the dust you were looking for, by the way, Mike.
I feel happy now. He overran that corner, just dab on the brakes, and it was he had to let it off, but it let all the dust loose, and he probably dropped one spot in there. As we go back to this great race between Peter Hackett, looking out the back of Hackett's car, and Alan Simonson just picking him up here, looking for the inside, and will get that spot. Oh, not only does he get the spot, he also gets the black mudguard on the way through as well.
Well, that was very interesting. A big bash to the right-hand front of the Lamborghini. I wonder if it's going to have problems as a result. Alan Simonson has the lead in this little battle anyway, but Hackett shaping up for an overtaking manoeuvre, looks down the inside. They come, oh, they've actually touched, and around goes Peter Hackett.
Well, that was bad luck for Hackett. He got very excited about what was going to happen, and he comes out of the rough, but he drops one spot. And that is not going to change things for him. We'll have a look at this in replay. He comes down here on the inside. Bang. Well, there wasn't too much between it, but I think it was a bit of a surprise there for the man in the Diablo.
This is how The Dane saw it straight down the inside, just understeers a little bit on the exit, not too much though, and manages to get the overtaking manoeuvre done at the end of the day. Hackett fought back at the end of the straight. Not sure if they did touch here, they were very close, but the back of the Diablo turning around, and welcome to Nations Cup, Peter Hackett.
Yes, it was a case of whack and Hackett, wasn't it? You can see it under the brakes as they go into this corner here and around sideways. So that was bad luck that he made it back through the racetrack again, and only probably dropped about 100 metres.
Here's a good battle going on in the Porsche ranks. Trevor Johns out in front. The Copyworld machine, a long-time competitor in Porsche racing, under a bit of pressure at the moment, Mike.
Well, he is. Of course, I think the conditions today at Monaro Motorsport Park are not really playing into his hand. He's well positioned here. He's running pretty well on the racetrack and very, very quick through that corner.
The car right behind him, John Caius. I noticed that Peter Fitzgerald was down in pit lanes. Peter is working with John, obviously preparing the car for him and helping him with some of his driving. And I mean, Peter has been a very long-time campaigner in motorsport, Mike, and I think it's fair to say at the top end of the market as well.
You wouldn't find a better guy on a Porsche or a better guy on setup for cars. Peter Fitzgerald, I'd like to have him in my corner if I was running a Porsche here at Malala.
It's a good way to start your P's, and he's doing it all right at the moment, applying plenty of pressure to Trevor Johns just up ahead of him. In fact,
flag, and they're off and racing, and here's Paul Stokell and James Brock side by side as they come to the first corner, and it'll be Brock who gets through on the inside.
David Stevens up over the ripple strip. Alan Simonson's having a run on him this time, straight up the inside, but a great start by James Brock. He wasn't caught napping that time.
No, he certainly wasn't. Here he comes down the front straight away, past the pits into the right-hander. So James Brock has Paul Stokell right behind him. They swing into here. This corner really tightens up on the exit, and as they swing out of there, we can still see Brock is in front, but Stokell already indicating what he wants to do.
Well, James has said in a couple of interviews right throughout the season that this car has trouble getting the tyres up to temperature. Can he hold out Paul Stokell? Very determined, very fierce, but at the moment, the Paul Wright machine doing it the right way.
Well, it's doing that coming out of the corners. He's got a real handful on here. So Stokell still follows him. Hackett is back there in third, so those Diablos are running second and third.
David Stevens right up onto the tail of Alan Simonson, would like to get past him. Brock doing it all right under brakes, but he is defensive early.
Well, very defensive coming out of that corner particularly. He doesn't want to open it up, and as I said earlier, this track is not really known for its width. It's very, very tight. Here's Hackett, and right behind Hackett is the man that's going to make life unbearable for him in this one, and that's Alan Simonson.
Well, he made it unbearable for him on the previous one and got the upper hand, did Alan Simonson. Let's see if he can do it again in race 2. You can see he's applying big pressure right up behind the Lamborghini Diablo as they come down past the pit complex.
Dice here for the lead down on the inside as James Brock still manages to hold out Stokell. Stokell comes up on the inside of the two of them, pace it out side by side as they come out of this corner.
That was well set up by Paul Stokell. Compromised James Brock's exit out of that sweeper. Now, can he do it down the inside under brakes? That's the big question. Brock doing a great job, though. Here's the challenge.
Down on the inside, Stokell gets the Clarion Lamborghini through that corner. Brock tries to swing back on the inside of him. The two of them are side by side coming out of this corner. A great race going on here between the two of them.
Oh, well fought back by James Brock. He wants the win. I thought he was a bit gentlemanly, allowing Paul Stokell to run down the inside, but he fought back well. He knows what he's doing.
Well, he's got 7 litres. Watch it come on as they make the exit out of this corner. They're coming down now to finish one more lap off, and James Brock comes out of this corner with Stokell in hot pursuit as they go across the line. We look at the replay here on the inside. Now, Stokell goes through here in car number 1. Looks like he's taken the lead, but all of a sudden Stokell comes back again, only to find that James Brock is going even faster than him on the outside.
Yeah, that was really brave to do on the outside too. You could see all the brown dirt and everything at the side of the track. James Brock wasn't in the best part of the circuit, and he made it stick. David Stevens gets around Alan Simonson.
He's done a terrific job, David Stevens. Come up here on the inside, almost bang, almost a touch as we look out the back of Peter Hackett's car, the Lamborghini, and he's got a real race going behind him.
And now can he get past Peter Hackett? David Stevens lining him up. You could see he wants that spot. Looks to the inside, just feints. Hackett protects the line. Now that's given him at least a bit of breathing space over Alan Simonson.
Marginal though it may be. So from the back of Peter Hackett's car, Stevens is right behind him as they come. Then there's Alan Simonson side by side, and James Brock in the meantime still leads this one. As he comes through this corner, everything at risk as he comes into the next corner. But I think as they make the exit out of this corner, you'll find that Paul Stokell Stokell's got through to take over the lead. What a pass!
Yeah, Brock just came in a little bit too hot. The car just didn't sit right on the racetrack, and that's all you need to do to give Paul Stokell the eye to get straight through. He did it very cleanly as well.
Well, we've got a terrific race going here as Stevens gets down on the inside of Hackett.